from the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria. The time is 2 o'clock.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the News on the World Today. It is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria, Ibadan zonal station comprising news and feature. In the lineup, Minister reassures students on education reforms. FG set to revamp a moribund industries. Coming from the foreign scenes, Israeli Prime Minister meets U.S. President over Iran war. Japan issues tsunami alert after magnitude quake. Heart of the matter today is on the hepatitis. Let's break it down, while feature is on Shaki. My name is Feyi Shara. Owomoyela, not alone, reading with me is
Remy Omolola. You can also listen to us on live stream via www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng or watch us live on Facebook at Prem FM 93.5. As rainy season continues, let us keep warm to prevent cold. Now, the news in full. Minister of Education has assured Nigerians that no qualified students will be denied access to higher education because of financial hardship. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tuji Alausa, gave the assurance during a meeting with members of the National Committee for the Advancement of Occupational Therapy, Audiology, and Speech and Language Therapy Education. According to a statement released by the Special Advisor to the Minister of Media and Communication, Mr. Okharuata, the minister said the administration was committed to ensuring that every qualified Nigerian, regardless of economic background, had access to quality higher education. Dr. Alausa said President Bola Tinubu has prioritized human capital development by introducing policies that have eliminated financial obstacles that previously prevented many young Nigerians from pursuing tertiary education. The minister added that the president's reform were aimed at empowering young Nigerians to contribute meaningfully to national development.
The federal government says discussions are ongoing to revive moribund textile factories across the country. Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, disclosed this during an interview on a TV program. Senator Eno also noted that efforts are ongoing to reposition Ajaokuta Steel Company for accelerated economic growth. The minister explained that President Tinubu's administration was implementing the National Industrial Policy NIP to boost manufacturing, create jobs, and drive Nigeria's $1 trillion economy ambition. Speaking on efforts to revive the textile industry, Senator Ena said the government was engaging investors and development partners to restore the cotton, textile, and garment value chain.
The Ministry of Defense will soon announce a fresh salary increase for personnel of the Armed Forces of Nigeria as part of efforts to improve their welfare and reward their sacrifices in safeguarding the nation. The Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, stated this in Abuja during a one-day training and financial empowerment workshop organized for widows and wives of military personnel. He said the planned salary review reflects the federal government's commitment to enhancing the welfare of troops, expressing confidence that President Bola Tinubu will soon unveil the new remuneration package. General Musa recalled that military salaries were increased from 49,000 to 100,000 during his tenure as Chief of Defense Staff, adding that efforts were ongoing to secure a better package for service personnel.
The federal government has launched the Renewed Hope Vocational and Skills Training Program in Kano State, with 700 youths set to benefit from vocational training under the National Social Investment Program Agency. Speaking at the launch, the national coordinator of the agency, Mr. Badamasi Lawal, described the program as a major initiative to equip young Nigerians with practical skills, promote entrepreneurship, and encourage self-reliance. Mr. Lawal, who was represented, said the program was designed to turn young people from job seekers into job creators, in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. He explained that the 700 participants will receive both theoretical and practical training in 15 vocational trades.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has vacated the judgment that directed the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to deregister the African Democratic Congress (ADC) and 4 other political parties accused of failing to meet constitutional requirements. The Appellate Court, in a unanimous decision by a 3-member panel of justices, held that the court, which the Federal High Court issued to the electoral body on June 15 this year, amounted to nullity. He held that the High Court wrongly assumed jurisdiction and made the order on an incompetent suit that was filed by a non-jurisdicted entity. According to the Appellate Court, there was no valid suit that could have warranted the consequential order that directed INEC to derecognize the political parties. It noted that the trial court failed to properly evaluate evidence placed before it, stressing that the proof that the party won various seats in previous elections was ignored. It also held that the High Court acted in defiance of an order that directed it to stay proceedings on the case. Aside from ADC, the other parties whose registration the Appellate Court restored are the Action People's Party (APP), Action Alliance (AA), Accord, and the Zenith Labour Party (ZLP).
The Oyo State Local Government Staff Pensions Board (LGSPB) has commenced the payment of 3 billion naira gratuities to more than 1,000 retired primary school teachers, local government workers, and next of kin of deceased pensioners across the state. Speaking at the launch held in Ibadan, the chairman of the board, Mr. Akim Ige, said the payment exercise would be carried out across the state's geopolitical zones. He advised the retirees to make prudent use of their benefits and avoid falling victim to fraudsters. Earlier, the permanent secretary of the Local Government Staff Pension Board, Mr. Olufemi Akinwale, pointed out that Governor Seyi Makinde remained committed to the welfare of pensioners since assuming office.
Students of the DS Adegbenro ICT Polytechnic Itori Ewekoro have staged a protest to demand an end to the persistent armed robbery attacks and insecurity affecting students of the institution. The protest followed the reported killing of the student of the institution during an alleged robbery attack in Eruku, a development the students described as tragic and unacceptable. The protesters called on the Ogun State government, security agencies, and other relevant authorities to take immediate and decisive steps to safeguard the lives of students and residents. The students also appealed to Governor Dapo Abiodun to treat the security of students as a matter of urgent public importance by working closely with security agencies, educational institutions, local government, traditional rulers, and host communities to prevent further attack. Meanwhile, the authorities of DS Adegbenro IC Polytechnic Itori in Ogun State has postponed the examination schedule for today and tomorrow following the reported death of a student and the injury of another in a robbery incident at Eruku. The statement by the chairman of the Timetable Examination and Academic Calendar Committee, Mr. Gideon Adekunle, explained that the decision was intended to allow affected students time to recover emotionally from the incident and to honor the memory of the deceased.
The All Progressives Congress APC governorship candidate in Oyo State, Senator Sharafuddin Ali, is assured that all grievances within the party will be resolved before the general election. Senator Ali gave the assurance during a media interactive session organized by the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Oyo State Council, held at the Aderogba Hall, NUJ Press Center, Iyaganku, Ibadan. Senator Ali who acknowledged that some aspirants who contested the party's governorship ticket will seem or aggrieved, said he has personally begun to reach out to them and other aggrieved members to complement the efforts of the Reconciliation Committee set up by the party leadership in the state. The APC governorship candidate in Oyo State maintained that the APC in the state would go to the 2027 general elections with a united and formidable platform. He promised that if elected, the state would witness full local government autonomy, an overhaul of the education sector, and a robust security architecture that would make the state unbearable for criminal elements. Earlier, in an address of welcome, the NUJ chairman, Oyo State Council, Comrade Hakeem Abbas, stressed that the union remained politically neutral and would continue to set the agenda for all political actors ahead of the general election.
Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Oyo State Council, has inaugurated a committee for the 60th anniversary of the union. Performing the inauguration at the NUJ Press Center, Iyaganku, Ibadan, the chairman of the council, Mr. Hakeem Abbas, said the members of the committee were carefully chosen after necessary consultation with critical stakeholders of the union. While inaugurating the Wale Ojolare-led committee, Mr. Abbas said Oyo State Council should set the pace for other state councils to follow, being the first in the country. He therefore charged the 5-man committee members to do their best to make the celebration a worthwhile event. Responding, the chairman of the committee, who is also a former 2-term chairman of the NUJ, Oyo State, Mr. Wale Ojolare, explained that the celebration was for all journalists who have passed through the council. He said the anniversary must not be reduced to mere merriment, but that stories must be told. Pioneers must be honored, veterans must be celebrated, while the younger ones must be inspired. In a remark, a former Assistant National Secretary, Dr. Gbenga Bamidele, said, whatever the celebration entails, it must be worthy of emulation. On his own part, the National Trustee, Zone B of the NUJ, Mr. Shaye Ojo, said the National Secretariat of the NUJ was behind the celebration and it must be successful. Other members of the committee are Deputy Director News and Current Affairs, FRCN, Ibadan, Mrs. Olubumi Olalere, Mr. Fibian Ojo, Mr. Kemi Ayolaiton, Mrs. Bukola Owolabi Akinloye, and Mr. Shola Ladapo.
In a bid to reduce the rate of maternal and child mortality in Oyo State, the Rotary Club of Ibadan Gold, in collaboration with Just Charity Foundation, has donated maternity and newborn kits to Jericho Specialist Hospital, Ibadan. Speaking during the presentation, the president of the Rotary Club of Ibadan Gold, Rotarian Tracy Oloyede, said the donation was done in commemoration of Rotary International's Maternal and Child Health Month, with a view to tackling the high rate of women and children dying during childbirth. Mrs. Oloyede said the club had earlier adopted a primary health center but decided to extend the act to more mothers and newborns across Oyo State to support hospitals and the wider community in line with Rotary's corporate social responsibilities.
This is the month of maternal and child health. This is the particular month. We reach out to our mothers and unborn child. And we have lots in the bag. The bag is so loaded. We also have for the hospital too. We have baby wears, we have diaper, we have contour, we have spirit, we have Macintosh, we have cord clamp inside, and some other things.
Also speaking, the Chairman, Board of Trustees of Just Charity Foundation, Mr. Johnson Bino, said that 2 organizations were committed to humanitarian services, providing support for the vulnerable and low-income earners.
We want to bring it down. We want to beat the rate at which women die, children die at childbirth. So that's why we decided to partner with Rotary Club of Ibadan, because this is a very good cause they are doing.
While receiving the items, the Chief Nursing Officer in charge of the antenatal clinic at Jericho Specialist Hospital, Ibadan, Mrs. Dorcas Akinyemi, commended the Rotary Club of Ibadan Gold and Just Charity Foundation for the donation, describing it as timely. 2 of the beneficiaries, Mrs. Folakemi Oladeji and Mrs. Toyin Adebayo, also expressed appreciation, saying the kits would go a long way in relieving the financial burdens of expectant mothers.
All I can say about the organization that what they did is actually very thoughtful of them, because there are so many people that can't even afford the hospital list right now. They are trying to struggle to get almost everything on the hospital. So this coming through at this time is just a blessing to everyone. I'm happy, like when they give us, God will continue to bless them. I'm surprised and I appreciate it.
The beneficiaries added that the gesture would significantly improve maternal healthcare services at the hospital.
The Timi of Ede, Osun State, Oba Muniruddin Lawal, has dismissed reports suggesting that he deliberately avoided the All Progressive Congress APC governorship candidate in Osun State, Alhaji Muniruddin Oyebanji, during a planned visit to his palace. Oba Lawal spoke through his principal private secretary, Mr. Tejumola Abiodun, said the reports circulating on social media were false, misleading, and disrespectful to the traditional institution. Oba Lawal explained that he was notified of the proposed visit less than 24 hours before the scheduled engagement, arguing that the short notice did not conform with the protocol and courtesy required of an official visit to the Timi of Ede. According to him, he had previously scheduled official engagement which could not be cancelled or altered at such a short notice.
This is the world today. The stories that made the headlines so far. Minister reassured students on education reforms. Federal government set to revamp moribund industry. Still to come, Israeli Prime Minister meets U.S. President over Iran war. Japan issues tsunami alert after magnitude quake.
You're still with us on the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria on the World News. The news continues. Health experts have called for increased awareness, early testing, and vaccination against hepatitis to prevent new infections and achieve its elimination by 2030. The appeal comes as the world marks the 2026 Hepatitis Day with the theme, Hepatitis, Let Us Break It Down. The campaign this year focuses on tackling stigma, misinformation, and barrier preventing access to prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. Our correspondent Oluwatosin Igwetogana brings details.
Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver caused by viruses A, B, C, D, and E. While hepatitis A and E are commonly spread through contaminated food and water, hepatitis B and C are transmitted through infected blood, unprotected sex, and from mother to child during childbirth. It is described as silent disease as many infected persons shows no symptoms until serious liver damage has occurred. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), viral hepatitis claims about 1.3 million lives annually, while more than 350 million people are living with hepatitis B or C globally, as millions remain undiagnosed and untreated. Experts say hepatitis B and C are the leading cause of liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, and hepatitis-related deaths. An Akure-based medical expert, Dr. Lolu Afolayan, advised Nigerians to know their hepatitis status through routine screening and get vaccinated against the virus when they test negative, while those who tested positive should seek prompt medical attention. Dr. Afolayan explained that though no permanent cure for chronic hepatitis B and C for now, effective treatment was available to show progression and prevent complications.
If you test positive to hepatitis B, you see the liver specialist who take care of hepatitis B patients. If you test negative, you go for hepatitis vaccination. There are vaccines to prevent it. Hepatitis is actually a preventable disease.
Speaking with Radio Nigeria, a public health practitioner, Mr. Kende Boega, called on governments to improve access to hepatitis vaccine, testing, and treatment, noting that many infected Nigerians could not afford the cost of care.
Less than 1 year, they benefit from the free vaccination. But for adults that are infected and pregnant women that are infected, they have to go out of their way to get the vaccine. And you know the problem in our country, being a developing nation, that most people living, below $1 to $2 per day. How would they be able to afford such vaccine.
Some residents of Akure, Ondo State capital, also appealed to government and well-meaning individuals to support the fight against the silent killer disease by improving the level of awareness on it.
It does not show on the face, so that when some people are carrying hepatitis around and they didn't know, but then by the time they'll find out or by the time they become symptomatic.
It's very important. Hepatitis is a very deadly virus. I've seen the destruction it did to somebody, so when I heard of this, I have to come and do it in order to be ascertain my status.
It is the view of stakeholders, including medical experts, that with early diagnosis, vaccination and prompt treatment, hepatitis can be prevented, controlled, and millions of lives saved. In Akure, Oluwatosin Tegwono, Radio Nigeria.
In today's Heart of the Matter.
Similarly, viral hepatitis, an inflammation of the liver that causes severe liver disease and cancer, is affecting people globally. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to observe this year's Hepatitis Day, our correspondent Lillian Ibomo examines issues surrounding the disease and possible way out.
Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver commonly caused by various infections, heavy alcohol use or toxic substances. The main types are hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E, which can damage the liver and lead to serious health problems like scarring or cancer. Experts describe hepatitis as a viral disease that calls for urgent attention. The World Hepatitis Day 2026 theme, Hepatitis, Let's Break It Down, is a call to remove the barriers that stand between people and the services that can save their lives. This is because viral hepatitis has remained a major cause of preventable illness and death worldwide. It is disheartening, however, that millions of people remain undiagnosed, untreated, or unable to access care due to stigma, limited awareness, health system gaps, and persistent inequalities. The 2026 campaign calls for turning proven science into actions through stronger political commitment, sustained investment, and efforts to expand equitable access to prevention, testing, treatment, and care. An infectious disease expert, Dr. Babatunde Ogunbosi, said hepatitis spreads differently depending on the specific type of virus, but primarily through contaminated food and water, contact with infected blood, or sexual contact.
Anything that will pierce through the skin or let the blood or fluid from another person get into the next person. And these ones are for hepatitis B and C. Hepatitis D will typically need a person that already has hepatitis B infection for it to take hold on the individual.
Dr. Ogunbosi observed that the tools needed to eliminate viral hepatitis already exist, but people have to avail themselves for testing. Similarly, an epidemiologist, Dr. Iyabo Karim, urged Nigerians to get tested for hepatitis B and C to ensure early treatment and reduce the spread of the disease. Dr. Karim called for vaccination of newborns with hepatitis B within 24 hours of birth and ensure compilation of childhood vaccination series. How knowledgeable are Nigerians about the disease? Some residents of Ibadan bore their minds.
I've heard about it before, but I don't know anything about hepatitis. I don't enter public transport. Anything sweat or sit down with someone, sitting 2, sitting 3. I'd rather take bike alone than carry bike with someone. I avoid it.
I don't understand anything about it. I'm hearing it for the first time.
The residents called for more public awareness to reduce its spread. In Ibadan, Lillian Ibomo, Radio Nigeria.
In today's Heart of the Matter, an intern from Federal University Oye Ekiti, Kehinde Sale, writes on hepatitis. Let's break it down as World Observe Hepatitis Day.
World Hepatitis Day is observed annually on July 28 to raise awareness about hepatitis, a disease that continues to pose a major public health challenge worldwide. The day serves as a reminder that millions of people are living with hepatitis, many of whom remain unaware of their condition. The theme for this year's day, Hepatitis, Let's Break It Down, calls for greater understanding of the disease and the removal of barriers that prevent people from accessing prevention, testing, and treatment services. It also encourages the simplification of conversations around hepatitis by presenting accurate health information in ways that everyone can understand and act upon. Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver, a vital organ responsible for filtering toxins, processing nutrients, producing essential proteins and supporting digestion. According to global health authorities, millions of people are affected by different forms of viral hepatitis, leading to serious illness, liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, and preventable deaths every year. One of the greatest concerns surrounding hepatitis is its silent nature. Many people can live with the infection for years without knowing they are infected, thereby increasing their risk of severe liver damage while unknowingly exposing others to infection. When symptoms eventually appear, they may include fatigue, fever, nausea, loss of appetite, abdominal pain, dark urine, and yellowing of the skin and eyes, commonly known as jaundice. The burden of hepatitis is not limited to any particular country or region. It affects people of all ages and backgrounds, making it a global health concern. In Nigeria, limited public awareness, inadequate screening, and delayed diagnosis continue to hinder efforts to reduce the prevalence of the disease. Sadly, many people only seek medical attention after serious complications have developed. The encouraging news is that hepatitis can be prevented. Vaccination against hepatitis B remains one of the most effective preventive measures available. Good personal hygiene, safe blood transfusions, proper infection control practices in healthcare facilities, and responsible health behaviors also play vital roles. Early testing and prompt treatment can significantly reduce the risk of severe liver disease and save lives. The observance of World Hepatitis Day should therefore be seen as not merely an annual event, but as a call to action for governments, healthcare institutions, communities, and individuals alike. Greater investment in public awareness campaigns is essential to ensure that more people understand the causes, symptoms, prevention, and treatment of hepatitis. Government agencies and healthcare providers must strengthen screening centers, improve access to vaccination, and ensure that treatment services are affordable and accessible to everyone who needs them. Stakeholders also have vital roles to play in breaking down the myths and reduce the stigma by encouraging people to seek testing and medical advice without fear or discrimination. As this year's theme rightly suggests, breaking down hepatitis means breaking down ignorance, misinformation, barriers to healthcare, and stigma through sustained awareness, effective prevention, early diagnosis, timely treatment, and collective commitment. A future free from the devastating effects of hepatitis is within reach.
That script on hepatitis, Let's Break It Down, was written by an intern from the Federal University of Ekiti, Kehinde Saleh, and read by Niyi Downsy.
And to the foreign scenes, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will today meet U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House for the first time since the start of the Iran war, over which they have publicly disagreed. Relations between Presidents Netanyahu and Trump have occasionally appeared sustained in recent months, but both have sought to tone things down.
Japan has issued a tsunami alert after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the country's southwest, cutting out power to thousands of households. The Japan Meteorological Agency said the tremor on the island of Kyushu has measured at the highest possible level.
And to end the news on the world today from the stable of Radio Nigeria, a quick look at the major items. Ministry of Education has assured Nigerians that no qualified student will be denied access to higher education because of financial hardship. The federal government says discussions are ongoing to revive moribund textile factories across the country. From the foreign scenes, we reported that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will today meet U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House for the first time since the start of the Iran war, over which they publicly disagreed. And lastly, Japan has issued a tsunami alert after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit the country's southwest, cutting out power to thousands of households.
Well, that's it on the world today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Rashida Makinde edited. I am Remy Omolola from my colleague
Feyi Shara Owomoyela. Thank you for joining us very shortly. We'll link up with our network studios in Abuja for the next program.